So, where were we anyway? um, so, who taught you? Like, what are your references when you have hard times? You have gone through a divorce. Are you in remission?
Yes,
Okay.
15 plus years.
Right, congratulations. What is it that?
Well, that was a faith opportunity. Cancer was.
Okay, how's that?
You know, there's for a type A personality, controlling person, thinks they can control their outcome, wants to control their own career and future, to realize that you've got something that you can't really influence and that you've got to trust God and or the doctors, and that you can only do so much within your own strength. And that was a huge faith opportunity for me.
What do you mean by that? What is it?
Well, it's
What did that look like? Barry Blanton had to give up control.
well, that's exactly what it looked like. But it was not something that was normal for me.
Was it difficult?
Sure it was. Sure it was. You know, I mean, I grew up a believer. I had faith, but I'd never faced anything like that. And I had always, for whatever reason, all the way back to Boy Scouts and working young and early jobs in my career, felt like that I could influence outcomes in my own career by working hard and having determination and being headed somewhere. And to be told that you have a cancer, that you're going to have to basically turn that issue over and let go of that. There wasn't anything I could do except go through the process that the doctors told me to. And you can only do so much internet self-diagnosis before you drive yourself crazy. So it was a huge faith opportunity.
When when did you find yourself? Because that's a process of letting go. It's like it's not easy just to.
Oh, I'm not sure I can tell you I ever totally did.
Okay.
But I mean, the reality is that you have to. I mean, you have to realize that. I had a doctor tell me one time that a well-educated patient makes a better patient. So there's some things you can do. You can educate yourself. You can be proactive about understanding what you're battling. You can be proactive about understanding the treatments that you go through. But in the grand scheme of things, God has a plan for your life, and at some point you're faced with trusting Him over what that plan is.
How many times did you catch yourself still trying to be in control?
Oh, that's happened a lot during then, and happens every day now. So,
What is it that you reference? I didn't know. You have quite a few struggles that some deep stuff that you've had to overcome. What is it that you? So we were talking about looking ahead. Um, how do you not stay there? What is it that compels you to look ahead? Like, what references do you have? Who taught you that? Where do you go? What are the passages or the people or the memories, like from your child? Because that typically starts early. What's the foundation for that?
I'm not sure I know the answer to that. I did grow up in a home based on faith. Not that we talked about that a whole lot necessarily. But I actually, well, I say that. That's not even necessarily true. I spent the first 7 years of my education was at a Catholic school. So is that a foundation for it? I don't know. I think that at some point we have to realize that we got to put a foot forward every day. And that's a horrible, don't cut that out of there. That doesn't make sense. I think at some point we realize you have to keep moving forward, and you got to take steps to try to do that. And for whatever reason, and I don't know that it's grounded in any particular thing, for whatever reason, I don't get any value or comfort out of dwelling in the past or in negativity. It's kind of like, yeah, you let it bother you for a few days or a few weeks, whatever the case is, a few hours maybe, it's even better, I suppose, and move forward. Now, that doesn't mean that I haven't spent some dark times in my life, having gone through divorce, losing a father to cancer, losing a mother-in-law to cancer, watching a wife go through cancer, losing an adult son. Some of those are difficult to overcome. But I think that what we go through makes us who we are. Our life is a culmination or a accumulation of all of our experiences, the good ones, the bad ones, the happy ones, the sad ones, the challenging ones, the easy ones. They all kind of make up who we become and how we look at things. The other thing that I think as I think about it, the other thing that I think maybe helps me move forward is some of those things I've made a conscious decision to try to take them and learn from them myself, but also share what I've learned. Or try to take that and turn it into something good.
How do you do that? Because a lot of people don't know how to do that.
Well, one very tangible thing is, and it happens to be going on right now, but my father died of leukemia, and I'm a lymphoma survivor. Both of those are blood cancers. My family has been involved. This is our 18th year to be involved with raising money for blood cancer research through the Leukemia and Lymphoma Society in an event called Light the Night. And that is something that our family has raised $500,000 over less than 20 years to support blood cancer research. And I've supported that organization in much bigger ways too for our walk here in the Woodlands. But that is a tangible thing. Another platform that I use, and I will speak about some, is a blog called the Monday Morning Minute that I started in a business environment for a very specific reason, that's turned into more of a platform of sharing, learning, leadership, and challenge kind of lessons. And there's a few folks out there that read that I think learn something from it, that I can share my own experiences and my own thoughts with.
And where is that? How do you find it?
It's on my business website, it's on Facebook, it's on LinkedIn.
Do you consider when tragedy happens, or a catastrophe, let's say, do you consider, what are the words you use? This is what I have to deal with, this is a problem that I have to solve, I have to fight, I have to accept, or I have to embrace? How do you talk to yourself in those times?
Not sure that I've thought about it like that. I don't consider it fight. I don't look at it like that. I do tend to probably mentally break things down into what the next step is in order to get through it. That is just kind of how my mind works. Is, you can only, it's the old one bite of the elephant at a time. You've got a giant issue in front of you, or a giant hill to get over, or a giant sorrow to get over. You break it down into what you can tackle one day at a time, 1 hour at a time, whatever the case may be, whatever the next step is that's needed to get you through that. Like I said, I don't consider it a fight. I think people talk about a battle against cancer, and surely that is one way to look at it. But afterwards, I don't look at it as a fight. I just look at it as moving forward, getting back.
So, how did you have brothers and sisters?
2 sisters.
2 sisters. How did they, well, not your sisters, I was just curious personally, how did your mom and dad model that for you? Model that kind of behavior, or did they?
Yeah, and I don't know that I'd want this in the video. I would probably say no, they didn't.
Okay.
But I don't want that in there.
Okay, well, it's on video, so they'll know to cut it out. Barry does not want that part. So where did you learn it from then?
I don't know.
How did you come up with it? Does it make you proud to do that?
Yeah, but I also don't think it's, I mean, I kind of think everybody ought to try to do that. I don't think it's any unique big deal. I mean, I just think that everybody should try to do that. I think that's a reasonable way to try to tackle something.
Yeah, but try to do what exactly?
Well, to me, it's like, so I don't know why this story just popped into my head, but I happened to be out of town when my father died. And he encouraged me to go. He was at home in hospice, and we knew he didn't have long. I didn't think it was that short. Certainly didn't think that he was going to pass away while I was gone. But he encouraged me to go, and I did. And so I was out of town. I wasn't there when it actually happened with my mom or my sisters. But I spent the flight home from being out of town on a business trip writing what turned into a poem about my dad and losing him so early. And was that a way that I chose to deal with that? I don't know. I mean, yeah, it was. I mean, it helped me. It helped me, and I don't write a lot. I mean, I write the Monday Morning Minute, but I don't write a lot. But that helped me encapsulate some thoughts about losing my dad earlier than one would think. And that poem has stuck with me. As a matter of fact, it's in the Monday Morning Minute every single year on the Monday nearest my dad's death.
How old were you and how old was he?
My dad was only 71 when he passed away.
You were, I made you what?
That requires math.
40 You're a financial advisor.
I know. I don't do math.
Do you shove anything down when it comes up? When these catastrophes happen, how do you set it aside? Is it something you just run right into?
Am I going to write you a check after this, like therapy session? You know, I may not always be the best at dealing with some thoughts or emotions or communicating them. Maybe that's a different way to put it. I feel like I've dealt with all of these things that I've been through rather head on. Do I push down feelings about it? I don't know. Maybe it's the way I've dealt with it.
But you handle business, whether the emotions come with it or not.
Yeah, I mean, there are things that need to be done. And I don't just mean tactical things. I don't just mean the act of doing something that needs to be done in the midst of a tragedy or a loss. But there's kind of steps you have to take, I think maybe mentally too, to kind of get you through things. And I don't know what they are. I just know that I've always thought about, you know, life. We're not promised a trouble-free life. We're not promised that, I mean, this is earth, it's not heaven. And so, that, you know, we're not promised that it's going to be trouble-free. And we're going to get thrown curveballs and, you know, go through canyons. And that's part of it.
I spent a lot of time asking questions. What would you like to say without me prompting you? I'll take it.
Well, I think I said them. I mean, some of those things I thought of as you were saying them.
You said some amazingly profound things.
So I don't consider myself amazingly profound. I just, you know, and maybe to some degree, give me a little bit of foundation for what I'll ultimately talk about too. I'm good. That's good for you.